Illinois is a state located in the Midwest of the United States. It's commonly referred to as the Prairie State due to its flat plains and plentiful farmlands. However, Illinois isn't all just quaint farms and cute bed and breakfasts. Something more sinister hides behind the mask of rolling hills and pleasant citizens. In this video, we'll show you the darker side of the state. Ghost caught on camera in Chicago nursing home. This video was taken from a security camera in a nursing home in Chicago, Illinois. In the video, a security guard is sitting at the front desk of the home. Out of nowhere, a foggy orb floats past the desk and the front door before disappearing completely. The security guard stands up in shock. He has to calm himself down before he goes to check the security camera footage. To his amazement, when he checked the footage, he was able to see the foggy orb on camera and knew that he wasn't hallucinating. Man sets fire to vehicles in Chicago. In this video, a man douses 3 cars with lighter fluid before setting fire to them. The fire grows large and a small explosion erupts from one of the vehicles, waking up the landlord of a nearby apartment complex.
I run out downstairs, call the police.
The landlord sees the parking lot engulfed in flames and calls the fire department. Luckily, the firemen were able to put out the fires before it was able to damage any of the buildings near the parking lot. It isn't clear as to why the man set fire to the cars, but he looks as though he may have had experience with arson before. He showed no hesitation when pouring lighter fluid on the cars or setting them on fire. The arsonist also made no attempts to hide his face, which is clearly visible in the footage. Police were able to apprehend and arrest the perpetrator. Thieves break into a tobacco shop in the middle of the night. In this video, 2 masked thieves smash the glass door of a tobacco shop in the middle of the night. They enter the shop and nonchalantly walk around. They grabbed quite a few cartons of cigarettes before leaving. Although not captured on video, police say that another tobacco shop had an attempted break in a little while after these thieves were caught on camera breaking into this tobacco shop. Because they were wearing masks and gloves, police were not able to identify the robbers. Man attempts to kidnap girl in front of her mom. This video was taken from a street surveillance camera. It shows a mother and her 5-year-old daughter walking down the sidewalk along a street in Chicago. It's the middle of the day, just a little before noon. A creepy man follows close behind them. The man then walks in front of the two, blocking their way on the sidewalk. He offers the mother money to let him take her daughter. The mother said no, which angered the man. When the mom tried to walk away with her daughter, the man lunged at the child, trying to grab her hair and pull her away. The mother fought him off until they were able to get away. Police were able to later find the man and arrest him for the attempted kidnapping of the child. Unfortunately, the incident has terrified the surrounding neighborhood.
I'm afraid, and we pray for this area. We pray for this area ever. And it's weird that in our neighborhood, something like that happened in this day.
Mothers no longer feel safe walking around with their children even in broad daylight. Woman almost abducted in Chicago. When a Chicago resident heard the screams of a woman coming from the street below their apartment, they went out onto their balcony to see what was happening. They were able to capture the last part of the horrific scene with their phone camera. In the video, a red van pulls out of a parking spot and speeds away down the street. Another car sits in the middle of the road with the passenger door open, seemingly to having tried to block the red van from escaping. Police were called and were given information about what had just happened. A woman was walking down the street when 2 men got out of the red van and tried to drag her inside the vehicle. Luckily, a Lyft driver was passing right at the time of the abduction. The driver pulled to a stop and the Lyft passenger got out of the car and pulled the woman away from her abductors. Unfortunately, the Lyft driver did not block the red van well enough and the van was able to get away. Police were unable to find who the abductors were, which was really upsetting to the neighborhood because just a month before, another woman was almost abducted off the street nearby. Deadly pileup crash. This video shows the aftermath of a deadly pileup crash in Chicago. At least 8 cars were involved in the accident, causing a huge fire to break out. The accident was caused by a stolen Dodge Charger speeding through the intersection to evade police. In doing that, the vehicle hit 7 other cars. The stolen Dodge Charger instantly burst into flames, with the driver and passengers still inside. They did not make it out of the crash alive. Everyone involved in the pileup was rushed to the hospital for severe injuries. The footage shows the horrific scene. Flames engulf the cars as people rush to try and save those in the piled up cars. Ghosts screaming in haunted hotel. In this video, police were called to a hotel in Illinois following complaints of terrifying screams coming from one of the rooms. Police were called to a hotel in Illinois following complaints of terrifying screams coming from one of the rooms. Police were called to a hotel in Illinois following complaints of terrifying screams coming from one of the rooms. Police were called to a hotel in Illinois following complaints of terrifying screams coming from one of the rooms. Police were called to a hotel in Illinois following complaints of terrifying screams coming from one of the rooms. Police were called to a hotel in Illinois following complaints of terrifying screams coming from one of the rooms. Police were called to a hotel in Illinois following complaints of terrifying screams coming from one of the rooms. Police were called to a hotel in Illinois following complaints of terrifying screams coming from one of the rooms. Police were called to a hotel in Illinois following complaints of terrifying screams coming from one of the rooms. Police were called to a The most horrifying aspect of the complaint is that the hotel staff confirmed that no one was staying in the hotel room where the screams were coming from.
There's no one checked into that room. There should be nobody in there.
In the video, a hotel security officer makes his way to the hotel room where the screams are coming from. He stops outside the room, looking very nervous. The screams are blood-curdling and non-stop. The hotel staff confirms to the security officer that there should be no one in the room. They also tell the security officer to wait for the police to arrive, but the officer opens the door to check and make sure no one's in there. When he opens the door to the room, the screams stop.
John. Amy, John's gonna enter the room real quick just to check, make sure, see what's going on.
The security officer enters the room with a flashlight. As soon as he's inside, a translucent figure seems to rush out of the door of the room and go down the hall of the hotel. The lights in the hall flicker as well. When the security officer comes back out of the room, he says that he still wants the police to come and check it out. He says that there's no one in the room, but all the furniture has been turned upside down, the carpet's been ripped up, and the shower is on. The officer is so spooked that he goes back to the hotel lobby. He didn't want to be near the room alone anymore. Massive chemical explosion in Illinois. In this video, a large fire consumes a chemical plant that experienced multiple explosions. Thick, black smoke emits from the fire and spreads miles across the surrounding area. Because of the explosions in the fire, anyone living near the chemical plant was evacuated in case the fire spread to their homes.
I wasn't that alarmed until more and more explosions started occurring, and you could now see lit fire material raining down.
Local firefighters decided that it would be best to control the fire from spreading, but not put it out so that it could burn off whatever chemicals were left.
We stopped water operations at this point. We stopped suppression. We felt it was in our best interest to let this product burn off.
It burned for almost a week after the initial explosion. Eerie tornado sirens echo through Chicago. As the tornado approached the city, Chicago played their tornado sirens to warn its citizens of the impending danger. The weather for that day was extremely poor. Fog and rain created low visibility. The streets were empty because people were taking cover from the storm. The video shows how eerie the sirens ringing through a quiet Chicago were. It looks like something out of a horror movie. Chicago police chase stolen ambulance. In this video, Chicago police chase a stolen ambulance down the highway. Two of the ambulance tires pop and the ambulance has to pull over. The driver jumps out with the bag and jumps over a fence separating the two sides of the highway. Police tell him to get down, which he does. When police attempt to get over the fence, the man grabs his bag and tries to make a run for it. The police start chasing him down the highway. The thief tries to stop a passing truck and get in, but the truck driver doesn't let him and drives away. Eventually, the police catch up and tackle the perpetrator, pinning him to the ground and arresting him. Carjacker tries to escape. In this video, police have boxed in a carjacker in the stolen vehicle they're driving. When the carjacker realizes he has nowhere else to go, he gets out of the car and sprints away from the police. It looks like he's going to get away, but later they show that he was arrested and detained. The carjacking resulted in a huge traffic jam in the city of Chicago. Couple robbed in Chicago. In this video, a couple leaves their home to head out on their nightly walk. Suddenly, 3 armed robbers jump out of a car and ambush the couple. The robbers chase after the couple, hold them at gunpoint, and force them to give up their wallets and phones. The robbery lasted less than a minute, and as soon as the robbers had gotten everything valuable off the couple, they jumped back in the car and sped off.
They open up the doors and immediately, it's nefarious. They all had guns.
It was like an ambush.
Yeah, they start rushing towards us up the sidewalk. We try to make a break for it.
The couple said that the robbers appeared to only be teenagers. The husband stated that the incident traumatized his wife and him, and that he's now considering getting his concealed carry permit because they no longer feel safe on the streets of Chicago. Strange creature found in Chicago alley. A woman was walking down an alleyway in Chicago when she spotted something really strange sitting on top of some trash. She pulled out her phone to record what she saw. In the video, a strange cat-like animal is sitting on top of some trash. It's unclear if it's dead or alive, but it's very clear that it looks unlike any animal that would be found in a city. It's a lot larger than a domestic cat and has large eyes. It's hard to tell if the animal is breathing or not, but the woman taking the video seems to believe that the creature is alive because she's too scared to get close to it. Fake hand in Illinois lake. While fishing at a lake in Illinois, a man spotted something he was not expecting. What appears to be a human hand floats up to the surface of the water. He videos it to prove that he was not just seeing things. It's obvious that the thing floating in the water is a hand, and it's very unnerving. Off camera, the man said that he ended up fishing the hand out of the lake and found it to be fake. Someone must have accidentally left part of their Halloween costume in the lake. Creepy underbelly of Chicago. It's common knowledge that in a lot of major cities, the parts visited by tourists are the parts of the city that get the most upkeep. The city of Chicago is no different, and several places in the city are extremely run down and in need of some fixing up. In this video, a driver had to make his way through a different part of the city than normal for work. He was shocked at what he saw. The part of Chicago that he drove through looks like something out of a post-apocalyptic movie. He drives through an eerily empty tunnel, the lighting is dim, and the passageways going off the tunnels are blocked by old fences. The tunnel also contains old, disturbing graffiti. The atmosphere of the tunnel makes it seem as though a zombie is about to jump out of the dark at any moment. Robbers use vehicle to break into store. In this video taken from a security camera, a car drives through the entrance of a closed department store. The robbers loaded the car with items they wanted to steal and tried to break out of the entrance that they had busted in through before. However, breaking in is not as easy as breaking out. When the car tries to drive out the entrance, it's blocked by the security gate. One of the thieves abandons the vehicle and slips out of a small hole in the entrance. The car then tries to back out of the store again, but the security gate will not budge. Another thief jumps out and abandons the car and the driver. The car flips around and tries to drive out again, but gets stuck. The video ends before we can see if the driver escaped or if the police were able to arrest anyone. Winter storm causes 100-car pileup. In this video, a massive winter storm resulted in more than 100 cars piling up on the interstate highway in Illinois. The wreckage spread across 30 miles and the interstate had to be shut down. The video shows the damage of all the wrecked cars piled up, as well as the video of a man telling people to clear off the highway before more cars pile up. Chicago jet crash kills 45 people. Over 50 years ago, a United States Airlines jet crashed into a Chicago neighborhood while trying to land at the airport. The video shows the wreckage. The plane was completely destroyed and a few houses were obliterated. 43 of the 61 passengers were killed in the crash, and 2 people who were struck on the ground also died. Many more were rushed to the hospital. Before we play the last clip, you've watched this far, so why not consider subscribing to our channel? I post 2 new scary videos every week, so subscribe to make sure you stay up to date with the new releases. Deranged man destroys home with an axe. In this video, taken by a Ring doorbell camera, a shirtless man destroys the front of his neighbor's home and car with an axe. He was later arrested by police and charged with stalking and criminal damage done to the property. It's unclear why he wanted to break down the neighbor's home and vehicle, but it's incredibly terrifying.